Welcome back, friends, for Shipwrecked Episode 5. As I'm sure you remember after our quick recap, we rolled a really tough chunk that is going to cause a lot of grind, had a little panic attack, and then came up with and completed Step 1 of the 4-step plan. If you're just stumbling across the series for the first time and you want to jump right in and see what I've got myself into, go ahead and keep watching. If you'd rather go back and catch up, I'll put a card for you on the screen so that you can go back and see the previous episodes, and all this stuff will make a whole lot more sense. With Step 1 now completed, let's talk about what we've gained from this grind. Probably the best thing that came out of this was that we overshot our goal to get to level 17 magic and got all the way to 25 with the runes that we got. But the reason we were targeting level 17 was so that we could make use of the Chaos Rune drop that the Hobgoblins have. Now, I know what you're thinking, it's not the best drop rate, and you're right. But they are our only source of nature runes, so we are going to be killing a crap ton of them, so we might as well be able to use those chaos runes that we get to get more magic experience along the way. And the reason we wanted levels 37 prayer was so that we could use protect from magic, and that gives us really good access to elemental runes from the elemental wizards that are in our new chunk. Essentially, all of this was done to give us a somewhat efficient method of acquiring runes so that we can train magic, which leads us straight into Step 2. Step 2 is to unlock the Superheat item spell, which requires us to get to level 43 magic. The reason we need this spell so badly is because our current chunk task is to smelt a gold bar, but we have no access to a furnace, and we also need to get level 60 wood cutting and fire making, but we don't have access to an axe outside of making one. Since the only function for this spell is to allow you to use a combination of nature and fire runes to turn raw ore into bars, essentially voiding the need for a furnace, this will be our method of training smithing. To get all of the runes necessary to bolt, strike, curse, and telekinetic grab our way to level 43, we are going to have to collect around 1200 law, body, and chaos runes. That'll take about 5,000 hobgoblin kills is my rough estimate. Then we're also going to need our elemental runes from the elemental wizards, and I think we'll need to kill around 1,000 of those, maybe more. Along the way, we will stash all the nature runes that we get, so that we can have them for a smithing grind later. And last but not least, we will be praying this whole time that we get maze random events, because those are a good source of runes, nature runes specifically, so we could save ourselves a lot of hobgoblin kills with some good luck on the maze random event. Now that you are clued in on the next step of the plan, let's get down to where we'll be calling home for a very long time, the peninsula with the hobgoblins. If you ever doubted I was massively strong, there can be doubt no more. Level 50 strength. Now that we've got that little milestone out of the way, I'm going to switch over to attack and get that up to 50, then get defense up to 50, so we can take less hits and hopefully extend these trips. I'd say right now I am getting maybe 64 kills per trip, and that's with a full inventory of prayer and food, and that is just exactly drop rate, which is not good because that means I would need to do a shit ton of runs to get the nature runes necessary. So I definitely need to find a way to make these trips last longer, and the only way to do that is to have better stats overall. 47 attack, 49 attack, and 60 combat, 49 hit points and 50 attack, 61 combat from a no pop-up, 47 defense. Just trying to get some food, but I got 48 defense as well, 38 prayer, mad religious, and 50 defense for base 50 melee stats. Look at that. I know you like seeing those gains, and I can't blame you because we are looking mad strong and it is sick. I came up with a little bit of a new plan as I was going through this to get some more elemental runes. I am using my Protect from Magic prayer at the wizards here to get elemental runes. Now I can take on all 4 of them, so I can stack water, earth, air, and fire runes pretty effectively. And then when my prayer runs out, I am going over to the hobgoblins and using a full inventory of food there. And that way my runs are very productive when it comes to runes. Feeling good, still a long way off, but I like this setup. So we're gonna run with this for a while and see what happens. Little side mission I had going on was anytime I would run past an imp, I would kill it just to see what drop I would get, because I have to bake a cake, if you remember, which requires several drops from the imp drop table, including an egg and a pot of flour. And I finally got everything I needed to get the unbaked cake, and we will see if we can get it on the first try. I have a pretty decent cooking level, so pretty good odds, but let's see. Oh yeah. And that's another chunk task complete. Potentially grind saving moment here provided by RNG, our first maze random. This could save us tons of time by getting us a nature rune drop at the end that would save us having to kill hundreds, if not thousands of hobgoblins. So let's pray for some good luck. Womp womp. No nature runes, that is very unfortunate. The feather and arrows are completely useless, so that was kind of a waste. Enough to make you want to cry. I guess the coal is slightly useful in the future, but not what I was looking for. Someone mentioned in the comments of my last video this huge secret that I had no idea was here. It was just sitting in here in this chest the entire time, and it is going to save me so much time during this grind. And it was just right under my nose the whole time. Check out what is in here. Oh, I got you good. Oh, I got you good. But seriously, thanks for being here. I appreciate all the likes, comments, and subscriptions that you guys are throwing my way. It helps me know that there are people out there who want to watch an account like this, and that the grinds aren't all for nothing. Plus, it helps keep you tuned in to huge milestones like 41 cooking. Clean looking combat level coming in, level 55 attack and level 66 combat. Time to switch to defense and bring it up to speed. Decided to sprinkle in some magic training just because I'm sick of hobgoblins, and there is 32 magic. No rest for the wicked, and by that I mean the hobgoblins. 51 defense. 52 coming in hot. 53 defense. Can you guess what's coming next? 40 prayer, obviously. How could you not see that coming? That unlocks protect from missiles for us. May come in handy later, but the biggest factor here is that in 3 levels I can stop burying bones, which will be sweet, and maybe speed up this process just a bit. And for those of you who I offended with my misdirection, here is the 54 defense you were waiting for. Of course the pop-up doesn't work for this milestone, but I just got 55 defense, which puts us at base 55 melees. Pretty sweet spot to be. Back to training strength, because why not? And level 56. It's been a while, but we got another maze random. Let's see if we can get luckier this time and snag some nature runes. A double steel arrow drop and some feathers. That is completely useless to us. Not gonna say never lucky because I hate that saying, but it hasn't been good so far. magic achieved with these training methods. Good lord, all I can say is... The 2-minute montage that you just saw encapsulated about 2 months worth of gameplay with the little amount that I am able to play each day. I started off pretty slow because it just seemed so far away at the beginning, but the closer I got, the more attainable it felt, and I started to pick up steam, and the sessions were getting longer and longer, and I was getting more interested in completing it every day. I always forget to take a look at the actual time played in game so that I can have the exact amount, but on screen for you now is what my stats were at the beginning of this video, and here is where they lie now. As you can see, most of the levels come from the melee combat styles, but I did get 2 ranged levels with lamps, and I also got magic all the way up to 44, bringing the grand total of levels gained to 90 in just this video. These are absolutely huge gains, and once we get a proper food source, there really isn't anything stopping us other than our gear from taking on anything that free-to-play has to offer. All video, we've been keeping track of the Hobgoblin kill count. Now is your chance to pause the video and drop in the comments what you think the final kill count is before I reveal where we ended up at the end of step 2. In the background, you just saw me finish my second best maze. The biggest asset I got from that was 119 Chaos Runes, which just sped up the magic grind to 43 and reduced the amount of hobgoblins that I have to kill to get the runes. For those of you who might be wondering what I did with the mithril ore, I ended up just selling it. I don't have access to coal, otherwise I would have considered whether or not I have to train my smithing up even higher to smelt that into a bar, but I have no coal as it is, so I just sold it because I'm trying to build my cash stack in the very little ways that I can in this chunk anyway. And the maze that's playing in the background now is what I would consider my best maze random so far, although it sadly does not provide nature runes. It gave me some more chaos runes, and this was prior to getting 43 magic, so this also just sped up the 43 magic grind, which was very welcomed at the time. I also got some death runes and coal. I held on to the coal because it will eventually help speed along the smithing grind in a very tiny way, and I sold the death runes because I'm just too far away from being able to use them. And with all that grinding comes the glorious moment of marking step 2 complete. Honestly, most of my estimations were on point. It took just under 5,000 hobgoblin kills and just under 1,000 wizard kills to get all the runes needed. On screen now is what my inventory looked like at the end of this. Just over 2,000 fire runes and 363 nature runes stashed to get me started on the upcoming smithing grind. And I'm almost hitting that first cash stack milestone that every account should have, 100k. Somehow after 2 months of grinding, the only skilling challenge I was able to cross off was baking a cake, and the only other thing I can cross off is the remaining drops that I needed from the wizards. And this brings us to what can only be described as step 3 of the plan. This grind will be completely opposite of step 2. While that was all combat, this is going to be all skilling grinds. The reason that I didn't just kill hobgoblins until I could finish the smithing and magic grind is because I do get a damage increase and a defense bonus from being able to craft an iron scimitar and med helm. Those are both best in slot for me, so it will make killing hobgoblins a little bit easier. So I wanted to attain them as soon as I could, and once I can craft those by myself, I'll also be able to craft my first axe. Unfortunately, 60 woodcutting and firemaking gets me absolutely nothing for the account. It's just a goal that I have to complete. The one bonus that it does have, and the reason I'm doing it now as opposed to later, is because I could get some maze randoms while I'm chopping down trees and lighting fires. So if I get lucky and maybe stack 100 nature runes in the process. That will just save me having to kill another 1,000 hobgoblins later. I believe I already have enough fire and nature runes stacked from my 5,000 hobgoblin kills to get to level 20 smithing, but you will have to wait until next episode to find out. Thanks again for watching and following me along on this journey. I've been enjoying playing the account, and even though this grind is easily the toughest I've ever done in the game, the insane gains that were made by completing Step 2 have really motivated me to move on to Step 3. For those of you who were paying attention, you will know that I have a long way to go. But it felt good to make those gains, and I look forward to doing a little bit more of an AFK grind with the smithing and woodcutting / fire making that I have coming up in Step 3 of the plan. I'll see you in the next video.